Happy Monday, Flosstube. It is Monday, July 26th, 2021, and this is Flosstube episode 12. I am Chrissy, finally a farm girl, on Flosstube as well as Instagram. I actually even have a Facebook under that as well. I don't use it as often, but it is there. So hi, and how is everybody doing? I feel like I'm coming back a little sooner than I normally do, but that's okay. And that's maybe the sign that things are getting back to normal a little bit. So I think last I left you was when I had 2 Sundays in a row where I had Stitchy Friends come over. The first Sunday was a high school friend, Sarah, and the last Sunday I actually had a few friends from my local needle shop, which is Brick City Cross Stitch. So it was wonderful. The house seemed perfect for sitting down with a group of, including myself, we just had 4. So it really was so much fun and so needed, but so much fun. And we laughed good hard belly laughs, which I think are truly important and so healthy to have. So we had a really good time. So that was that Sunday. This past Sunday was literally, I just had a nice weekend and knew that it was time to push on my Lincoln sampler. So we didn't have any big plans, which was actually quite nice. So I thought we would just go ahead and get right into it. And I do have, instead of more haul and, obviously my progress is going to be mostly of Lincoln, I did sneak in some other stitching, and I'm excited to share that. But other than that, the sun is really bright, so excuse me if I'm squinting. It worked out that the house was quiet. So I thought it would be a great night, and I have 2 giveaway winners that I would like to announce. We are going to go ahead and start over, or I did start over on the snowman one, and I have the winner for the generations, stitching generations together. So I'm excited for that. But let's go ahead, and I am going to just jump in and share the Lincoln sampler. I am so finished, with the exception of 2 little things that I am not terribly worried about. I'm going to sit down and we'll watch some TV. It doesn't require the pattern, so I just kind of left it. I have made my trip down to Hobby Lobby as soon as I got Lincoln to the point where I knew I could have all the dimensions in. I went down to the Hobby Lobby in Mount Dora. I have used them for a few years now, and both of the gentlemen in there, the one specifically, Mike, has had a frame shop before up in New York, so he understands what I want to see, and it's just a pleasure to work with them. So I went down and got the frame on order, and I am really thrilled about it. It's a nice large border. It does not have an incredible amount of detail because the border does, the stitching, and I think that it's just as important to make sure that your stitching is the focal point as it is having the right frame. So anyhow, I am excited to see that. So what I did was I took the piece with me, knowing I still had stuff to do, made sure I would have the measurements, and then I brought it back home with me. And when I finish in a couple of days, I will return it to them so that then they can go ahead and have the finish, which is supposed to be August 3rd. Now this is going to be for Needlework Expo, sorry. And that is in late August. So that is when this will become available. And I already have several people that have messaged me saying that they have already spoken to their local needle shop and made sure that it was on their list for orders during Expo. And that just thrills me to death to know that others are seeing it the way that I see it, is just such a an awesome feeling. So anyways, since last we gathered, I have stitched the top portion. I think that I showed you his law book, and I now have Honest Abe in and his sword, and I have the Scales of Justice. Now, a few people have asked, I stitched this on 28 count Jobelan Water Lily, so it has a little bit of a green cast. You won't see it as much in here, but when I'm out like on the porch stitching, if I share a picture, you'll see it a little more. But here she is, or I should probably say in this case, usually we refer to samplers as a girl. But anyways, I was able to come back over to Mary's side, and I had to put in, I put in this, let's see if I can get this part closer for you. There you go. I put in this motif, that motif, I think last time I had already finished her dress, but just in case. So I have on Mary's side, let me see if I can fold this in half now and help myself out. On Mary's side, I have the matching key that I have to stitch. And if you notice right here, there's these little white circles. They are repeated up here by one country, one destiny. And so they'll go inside each of this. So that is a huge finish. And I would say a very, personal finish. I have enjoyed this journey. I will say maybe I researched it more, and that's why, and maybe it's because I just feel this incredible connection towards Lincoln, and I specifically feel as though the connection is, it's not about war, it's not about the Civil War, it's about Lincoln and his family, and maybe the dynamics of Lincoln himself as a person versus anything else. So I always love these big samplers, but I will say between One Nation Under God and the First Thanksgiving, which is in my other room, this is my favorite. I never got tired of stitching it. Every motif was enjoyable in the sense that there was a lot of good solids, but Nerdan from Twin Peaks Primitives, the designer, is so good at getting the shading in. So I will say that there are many places in this. The design is going to come out literally 99% DMC floss. The only change I did was in the red and in Mary's dress. Now I stitched this on 28 count, so she's a grand old size. I can tell you, if you were going to stitch this on 28 count, you would probably want to buy 4 Weeks Dye Works Gold, because that is her dress. The border, there are so many ways that you could convert this easily. The border itself is 2 different DMC golds, but you could very easily trade it out and make it whiskey. Weeks Dye Works whiskey. The red, one red, with the exception of the floral motifs. I didn't change any of that when it came to, and I wouldn't, when it came to DMC. I would follow that strictly, but you could easily play with everything else. You could change, there's a light blue and a dark blue. You'll see that in the motif. You could change those easily to a hand-dyed floss, and you could do inside of each of the portraits of their children. You could make that something. But to me, hey Caleb's gonna come join for the Flosstube. We have guests. If they stay in the kitchen, then they come on the Flosstube, right? Okay, so anyways, there's a lot that you could do very easily to change it up if you wanted to, but it to me, it's absolutely a stunning piece in all DMC with the exception of the couple that I spoke about. So I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I have one night of stitching, and that's really it. Okay, that is the first works in progress. The next one was as soon as I knew I was basically done and got to Hobby Lobby, the next thing I did was jumped right back on the Halloween pattern to be released by Twin Peak Primitives. So Lincoln is future model or by Twin Peak Primitives. That's the one that I collaborated on, and then there's this one that I collaborated with them as well. So it's really nice to see these things where you have your ideas ahead and you bounce back and forth between myself and Nerd Dan and Nerd Son, and then you get to see the final product. And somehow they just read my mind. So I jumped right back on the Halloween one that will be released at Expo as well. And last time I gave you a sneak peek of her face. I think last where we left off, you saw, I shared it like this, like, yeah, I keep showing your face. Okay, so last time I showed you this much. And this week, or yesterday, I worked on, I'm gonna call it her little potion cabinet, but I've basically got the outline, and now this is incredible inside, and I'm so excited to stitch each section. So it's really cute. There's more to go up the side. I think I told you there's a skeleton that's coming up over here, and I'm nowhere near being done on this. So sneak peek, really cute. Sorry I went off the side there, but this is just fun. It's fun to go from history and something that you're stitching for enjoyment, but it's also serious. It's also a reflection of something in our past, in our history that deserves that respect. And then you have pieces like this that it's just fun, just absolutely fun. And anyway, so this one I am stitching on 28 count vellum, and I'm hoping by Sunday that I will be very close to a finish on this as well. Sooner, fine. But we do have family in town, and I know that some time will be maybe lost a little bit for stitching, but for good reason. So those are the two models that I was working on. Now, I think it was not yesterday, but the night before, I pulled out an old whip. I just needed something different. I felt really good about where Lincoln was and that relief. So I pulled out an old Scarlet House. That, I don't know why, I just never finished at the time, but anyways, I pulled out Mary Betchel, 1810. Now in this one, I am using the name of the linen. It's by Eclipse Colors. You can find them on Etsy. It's been a while. I don't know if she still does it, but they were called Eclipse Colors. Let me show you this. And it was, the name of it was Sabbia. It comes from Italy. So 32 count Sabbia, Sabbia, and there are not many colors used in this. Excuse the wrinkles. I believe my daughter borrowed the irons, so you're not going to see it all ironed pretty. But this was the very first sampler that I stitched, that I used and tried 1/1. And I'm going to be honest, there's a boo-boo down there, and I just kind of went with it, because right here was when I very first tried 1/1 stitching. And as I get into it and I finish it, I'll share with you what my mistake was. right here was a boo-boo because I made this block a different size than what it was supposed to be. So I threw my initials in and I just made it work. And I'm not gonna stress out about it. This is actually one of my first reproduction samplers that I've stitched. I jumped on this because receiving the linen, I was so excited, so I just picked my own colors. I've got a few of the called for, but for the most part, I used my own. What I added was this. I got my first flower started on the top. So, and what I like is I wanted to try the variegated DMC 115. So if I hold this up, you can see how variegated that is. And it's a joy to work with. So this is your 115. You can see the colors right there. And you'll see that it changes. Now you could complete your crosses. I don't. You could complete it to get a different look. But it's, what I like is you'll see a bright, a dark. You know, it changes all through the border. And that's that. So, I was excited and I just needed to, I wanted to feel like I had some progress on something older that I knew was getting close. So that kind of brings me, I'm gonna skip just around just a little bit because I wanted to talk about plans. And obviously my first plans are to finish Lincoln and to finish the Halloween stitch and to get them to Hobby Lobby for finish and home and photos. That's priority one. Then Saturday is my mom's birthday and she would have been 54. So I am either going to give me the day to do a new start. I do have that Blackbird one that I had bought that I wanted to stitch in my mom's honor. I kind of think about maybe just doing whatever I want to do, whatever I feel like on her birthday, Saturday night, I'm going to it's a free-for-all for me. So I even thought about, we had started Women of the Mayflower together. I would love to get that back out. So I know that those are my plans through this weekend. Get my 2 finishes in or get really close on the Halloween one. Have a free day for myself. And then I started thinking about not as much August. I have birthdays in August and I know there's other things that I would like to get, loose ends I'd like to get tied up on stitching for the month of August. And then I really enjoyed last year, I participated in Sampler September. They used 2 hashtags. I believe I could find them for you next time, but it was like soiree. It was basically new. You could share in a spot with a hashtag that showed newly designed samplers, and then there was a hashtag specifically for reproduced samplers that you were stitching. So it was really, really kind of fun, and everybody you could devote the month of September for just stitching samplers. So I would like to, during that time, my goal for September is to finish 2 of my samplers. The first one being Mary Betchel that I just shared with you, this one. And, a second. I wanted to pick 2 that I knew that I was close enough so that it wasn't a crazy goal. And the other one I have that's getting pretty close is Anathes 1859. And I fell in love with this. I think I said it on my first Flosstube where I shared all my whips. I bought it for the cat, for sure. The wreath, yup, it'll get you. But I wish I had just stuck with it right then and there because I knew all the symbols. And I think that's the only thing about having more than one whip. No big deal. But I did have the symbols kind of down. But here's where I'm at. Again, excuse the wrinkles. Let's see if I can get it up there for you better. And everything up to here went very quickly for me to stitch. All of this was easy, a joy. It was so much fun. And I think basically I've got, one second here, on this side of the wreath, I have another bird. So there's not a lot left for me to do. I would like to take a full week in September, devote it to just this sampler, even if it's just my night stitching, and finish it up. And that's kind of how I want to do the other one as well, Betchel, is just finish it up. Now somebody asked what linen I was stitching this on Instagram. I somehow have misplaced my It's So Emma project book, and that has all my logos. So I will find that, and then if anybody's interested, I'll make sure to share it. I'll make sure to share it next time so you know. It does have like, it is, I believe, it is the called for linen. I will get it for you. This is obviously written partially in a couple of different languages because this is by Perman of Copenhagen. All DMC, and let's see if I can. Weichelt sandstone is the linen, 32 count Weichelt sandstone. And I am confident that we use the call for colors and all my DMCs. It's very colorful, but it was really quite a joy to stitch. So I'd like to get back on that and have it on my wall since I kind of already know where I'd like to put it. But yeah, the wreath will get you, but that's all right. Okay, and then in Sampler September, the goal, 2 finishes, but I'd also like to take some time to put some stitches in my Twin Peak Primitives Springfield Sampler 1817. Now, I don't have the cover to show you a full picture. You could go to their website. I can link it for you down below. But I had gotten pretty far, and then kind of life got in the way. But I've showed you before. This one I've done my own conversion on. I've shared it. I believe I've even shared it to those that ask. I replied and shared in the comments. So this is the top. And you've got a lot of duplicates of these big flowers. They're not hard. They're just time-consuming. They have nice big chunks of color. They're just big in size. And then I was down here. So I just need to get on the house, put another horse in, fill it in, and work on this last section down here. But I would love to get some stitches in this. It's so pretty, so pretty. This is, I stitched on 28 count Heartland, I can tell you that much. And it has a lot of dyed floss in it. Most of it, at the time, I believe that both my mom and Jean at Brick City Cross Stitch had. She ran up there with my dad. We were ready to start this thing, and she converted everything over to the colors that we like. So again, if you're interested, I can help you. I have them written down, and this is Springfield Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives 1817. And they have it on their website or their Etsy shop. But I think it would be, you don't do that much work, and it's been sitting there looking at me and telling me I need to get busy and I need to get working. So, thinking ahead, jumping a month, but still knowing I really liked Sampler September. I don't know what it was about it. Everybody shared, and it just felt really good to dedicate that time to it. even though I feel like I stitch on samplers all the time. But anyways, okay, so let's, I did watch a little bit of Flosstube. I did watch Brenda and Laura, and I watched Saltbox Stitcher again. I watched the new one by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and I want to say that I wanted to get more in, but seriously, with Lincoln, I was just on a roll. So, okay, I got something in the mail that I have been waiting for, and that is my first ever linen by Fabrics by Stephanie. I saw a while back someone shared their chocolate milk linen, and so I went ahead and just placed an order, and it was a few weeks ago or more, but it arrived, and that's true to color right there. I love that she's so nicely serged all the edges. I think to a sewer or any handwork, anytime you've got these edges preserved and you could just pick up and go, it's like my favorite thing. I love when I get it and it's serged. So I picked out the chocolate milk, and I picked out the caramel macchiato. Okay, this one I will say the only difference is I really do like it, but I do think it has to have something more specific, because the caramel macchiato has a little tinge, open it bigger, a little tint, that's kind of there. It's kind of got a kind of orangey look to it. So I think once you start stitching on it, I don't think it would be as noticeable. Not that you wouldn't want it to be, but I don't think it's a Halloween fabric is what I'm saying. I think that as you started stitching, it would actually blend out really nicely to show you that you would have something aged. But you can see here you've got a little more orangey here versus over here on the back. It's nice, but it is different when you hold up the two. Let's see if I can do it like this way. So, chocolate milk, caramel macchiato. And I feel like this is one of those go-to all the time. Not light, not like a light neutral, but you could stitch a lot on it, a lot. So those were, that was exciting. I get to add that to my linen stash. Okay, and then the other thing was I had come across on Instagram a bag that was so pretty, a project bag that was so pretty, and I'd never heard of them before. And we still find new things on Instagram, that's for sure. But they were by, she's called The Missing Needle, and she does her orders through an email, but you can find her, I think easiest, she sells her bags on Facebook. So she's called The Missing Needle, and I kind of fell in love with her bags that had this alphabet on it. And then she has this really nice little plate here that says, do you see that? It just says handmade. And then she's got her tag, The Missing Needle. Cute little charm. And then this was the back. It's really pretty. And then because we were emailing and she was having a sale of pre-done of orders that she had kind of bulked up, my email got a little bit lost. So she was really sweet. She goes by Cece. Her name is Stacy, but she goes by Cece. And she sent a note saying that for the slight inconvenience, which it wasn't, it was no inconvenience, she sent me a little like notions bag. So I love that. Perfect. So really cute. And again, that's The Missing Needle, which, okay, that's really quite comical, because how many times are we like, needle's gone? I love it when my husband jumps up immediately. He moves really fast, and I'm like, I dropped my needle. We find it, but it's just funny. So, okay. The other thing that I got and haul is, you guys are gonna just think I sound like a broken record, but that's okay. That is okay. It's what I stitch. It's what I love. But Twin Peak Primitives released this week, Bless Our Home. Now, I did watch Hands Across the Sea, Nicola, this weekend, and she shared a sampler that she fell in love with and her sentiment over Home Sweet Home, the words Home Sweet Home. I agree wholeheartedly with her. I don't know why. I use the hashtag all the time. I probably, yes, I ended up having a career, but I really just graduating high school, just wanted to settle down, have a house, be married, children, a homemaker. It is never something to me when I say I'm a homemaker that I think that I take lightly, or motherhood or anything like that. So I really, not only did I fall in love with this because of what it was called, but I just kind of fell in love with the whole gold salt box house, and I'm really loving this primitive type angel. So I did get this by Twin Peak Primitives. I do love the sampler. And let me come in on the angel here a little bit. I feel like she's got that, maybe some would understand, I feel like she's got like that tombstone look that, like, sometimes they would have angels on top of the old historic grave sites and tombstones, so I really like her. Not for the morbid part, but I know how old looking that style is. So anyways, I really like that. It's a nice size. So let me share with you that it is 131 by 89 stitches. And there's 10 floss, 10 colors, and that is it. So a nice simple stitch. And it almost looks like she's got a little bit there. I like this little bit of, not sure that it would be Bargello because I haven't looked to see if their full stitches are actually Bargello, but I like that. That's different. So I was happy to have that. Okay. That's it for me for haul. I did get something to help me stage. I already have in my mind how I want to try and photograph Lincoln, so I did grab a few things that went with that era, and I'll save that for that reveal. But I did want to stop and mention I received some really heartfelt happy mail, and it deserves a shout out, but I will not share last name. And I won't share everything, but I will say I think it was my first happy mail via a Flosstube relationship and Instagram. Now, I've watched so many Flosstubers, and I can tell you, hands down, it is not, you do not do this at all for any happy mail. It's the thought that kind of blows your mind when something shows up at the door where someone's taken the time and they've made it personal. So, like I said, I'm not going to go too far into it. I will share with you that I got the sweetest card. She writes beautifully. Like, my cursive is no longer really cursive, but she writes so beautiful. And she just took the time to reach out. I do still struggle with my mom's loss. That's going to be a long time. You guys get to live with that. And I'm not going to apologize for that. That's just how much I loved my mom. But she sent me this care package that had a book and other things. And we share the love for Little House Needleworks. So she shared me or sent me this pattern. So I'm excited to stitch this, the Mercantile. And she sent me 30 count Weeks Dye Works, which, I mean, I love that because she could have sent me any size just to gift it, because seriously, but it's 30. And I've never had like the Weeks Dye Works tag on there. So I love that. She handmade the little thread drop there. Oopsie. All personal, super sweet. And then, okay, I have to put my glasses on for this. Hold on. So I give good credit. I wanted one of these. It was kind of like a little Christmas thing when she sent all of this. I will say that. But I did want to get it right because this, I know in the past, a lot of Flosstubers have shared this. So R&R Woodworks make these for you to be able to wrap your DMC floss on and then put them, cut it, and then easily put it on your floss drops or floss tags. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Her name was Yvette, and I'm just not going to go any farther than that, but she's super sweet, and I feel really blessed. And she sent all of it, besides in this box, and a little treat for Philip in a new project bag by Dot Dot Goose. And of course, we all know, you know, I kind of started Instagram out as the crazy chicken lady with my very special hen Laverne. She was my first experience with chickens, and it was one I'll never forget. So anyhow, if I did have her, she'd probably be sitting on my lap right now. But anyhow, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That was incredibly generous, and Philip has already played with his stickers, and you know, this is just a really sweet community. So that was Happy Mail, and I think that I am down to almost the end. Okay, let's see, let me make sure. I think I got all my notes. And I have, last but not least, the random comment pickers for both the giveaways. So if you missed last week's Flosstube, I had not gotten any reply back from the snowmen, which is called Marshmallow Party, giveaway, which is a complete kit. And I had not gotten a reply. I gave it another week. I think it's been almost 3 weeks now. So I did go ahead and redo another one. And the winner of Marshmallow Party is, let me see if I can, Beth Koenig. And she said, love your Flosstube. Your new house is so cozy and welcoming, and my daughter collects snowmen and would love that piece. Okay, so if you are Beth Koenig, all I need you to do is, if you're on Instagram, just private message me. If you are not, then just comment on the this Flosstube that you are the winner of Snowman Party, and I will give you my email so we can communicate. It's going to come directly from Diane, who runs the Twin Peak Primitives exclusive shop. So I don't have to do anything. It's very easy, and she'll get it right out to you. So congratulations, Beth. Okay, and now we're gonna move forward to the last one we had was another complete kit. This is called Stitching Generations Together. If you missed it, this is the one that my daughter had stitched for me for Mother's Day. I can actually show it to you. I don't ever get tired of looking at it. So, let me put that back. And it comes with everything in the kit. And the winner for Stitching Generations Together is Maine Woods Nana. How cute is that? Maine Woods Nana. And she said, it must have been wonderful to have your high school friend come to visit. It was. I absolutely can't wait for the Lincoln chart to be out. It is stunning. I already picked up the Weeks Dye Work Gold for her dress. You go, girl. I'm so glad you mentioned that floss last episode. It looks large, so I guess I will need a big piece of fabric for it. Could you give a hint on the count and size you used? I would love to stitch Generations. Thank you for another great episode. Okay, I will, next week, I will just have all the dimensions and what you would need it in order for linen pieces and things like that. I can tell you that I did stitch it on 28 count Jobelin water lily. I do know that typically Brick City Cross Stitch carries it. If you need any help with that, I know Jean would be happy to help you. And I can always communicate with her as well. But the release is not until Expo, and just make sure your shop knows that you want the pattern. And again, congratulations, Maine Woods Nana. Okay, all you have to do is same thing. Go ahead and message me on Instagram if you're there, and if not, then just go ahead and put a message on the bottom of this Flosstube episode that you were the winner of Stitching Generations Together, and I will have Diane get you your entire kit out to you. I do know for a fact that Stitching Generations Together sold out. I believe TPP Exclusives, who carries the limited edition kits, which is what this was, sold out, I think, day one. So I know a lot of you wanted it. I know a lot of you tried to get it and it was gone. And I had a thought. I had a thought. So here's how I'm gonna close out. I really hope the two winners of those most recent Flosstubes reach out to me. We are just as excited to get them to you as, you know, as we are to announce winners. This is one of those weeks that I will tell you that I don't want to go back into a whole bunch of, let's just say it's my mom's birthday. And she loved everything I did when it came to stitching. And so I'm so used to thinking about, what am I going to get her? One, it was typical. What did she not have? Okay, when she wanted something, usually she was able to get it. But it didn't make it any less fun, because when you love and are passionate about the same thing, besides Christmas and Mother's Day, like this was it. This was when I could spoil her to the best of my ability. This was when I could buy stitchy stuff and it still be okay. You know, I mean, it's just you're putting it together and you love it just as much to give it to him. So I paused because I am struggling this week just a little bit with, you know, the fact that it's her birthday Saturday. And I'm so used to doing something, and then all of a sudden you don't have to do something. And I thought, maybe a really good way to handle this feeling of not knowing what to do is I'm going to gift you mine. So I have this whole kit right here. I thought it's such a good thing, and everybody made such wonderful comments about if they didn't have kids that were learning, they had nieces. I read great stories on the comments. And some have 5 generations of stitchers. So I think the message in this is incredible. And I thought the best gift I could do would be to give mine away. I have one my daughter made for me. And I love that the twins gave me this as a gift, but I would like to give it to you. So I think the best thing to do is we're going to do round 2 for the birthday giveaway of Stitching Generations Together. But I think this time, let's just use the word together. So one word in your comment, or just the word together, not plural, not anything, together. Okay? So, because I can tell you that I feel better as a community when we're together, when we can share our highs, our lows, everything. And so it gives me great pleasure to take this kit, send it to one of you. I will announce the winner next week. You have to follow the rules. We want these giveaways to go to Stitcher, so the same thing applies. And that is, please be a subscriber of mine. Please like the episode and comment, and that's it. You have to be over 18 because we have to ask you for your address in order to mail it to you. So that is it in a nutshell. And with that being said, and I feel better already. Don't forget to floss. Love you guys. Bye.